The Christchurch resident who lost his home in the February Port Hills fires says it's been incredibly hard to learn that homes may have been saved if fire and emergency services had done things differently. Two separate fires, several kilometres apart, started on February the 13th, the first on Early Valley Road and the second on Marley's Hill. Today, Fire and Emergency released an independent review of emergency services response, which found there had been shortcomings. Maya Burry reports.
Helicopter pilot Steve Askin died fighting the fires, which merged into one large blaze that destroyed 9 homes and forced thousands of people to evacuate their properties. Vicky and Doug Flaum lived on Worsleys Road for 25 years, but their home was reduced to ruins in February's fire. More than 8 months on, their empty section, a reminder of the devastation caused by one of the biggest and most complex blazes in New Zealand's history. Ms Flaum says emotionally the event had taken a toll.
Just that not being able to go home, that nothing really feels like home anymore, even though we've got a home here now and it's full of furniture and that, but everything's still unfamiliar. It's not what we've had around us for the past 25 years, and you've accumulated over time.
Today, Fire and Emergency released an independent review by Alan Goodwin from the Australasia Fire and Emergency Authorities Council, looking at how emergency services responded to the blaze. It found that while firefighters from across the agencies did a lot of things well, there are areas that need to improve. Fire and Emergency's Chief Executive, Rhys Jones, says the review identified communication breakdowns with affected Port Hills residents and a lack of cohesion between the urban and rural fire authority, who were fighting the fire together. It also noted agencies were working under different plans, command and control structures, and communication with the public was lacking.
In the cold light of hindsight, decisions could have been different, which may have saved houses. But the decisions at the time were always based around safety of people of the community and of our own firefighters.
Rhys Jones says Fire and Emergency New Zealand, a national body established since the fires, has brought together urban and rural firefighters, which means next time there will only be one organisation responding to the fire. He says it accepts the review's findings and has developed an action plan to meet each of the recommendations. But another Worsleys Road resident who lost his home, Kieran Grace, says a new action plan won't bring his home back. Kieran Grace says the review shows systemic failures in the response to the fire, and it had been hard to learn that if a different approach was taken, homes may have been saved. Do you feel let down?
We feel very let down, and despite the action plan which FENZ has prepared following the operational review, would be hesitant to trust the response or effectiveness of the fire service, especially if the same management are involved, which were in the February fire.
In July, the police launched a criminal investigation after the cause of the Marley's Hill fire was found to be suspicious. Now, Fire and Emergency says based on the information available, it's of the view that the Early Valley Road fire is also suspicious. But Rural Fire Manager Richard McNamara says there is insufficient evidence to definitively conclude the cause, so the official finding has been ruled as undetermined, pending new information.
I know it's frustrating for people when a bureaucrat stands up and says it's undetermined, but our role is to continue that work in hand with the police to get to the point of truth, and so we're appealing for ongoing help.
Mr McNamara says arson is a despicable act and Fire and Emergency would be doing everything it could to bring justice to those affected. In Christchurch for Checkpoint, Maya Burry.